Hello, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to take a look at a CoursePlay editor. This is available from the GitHub page. I'll put links in the description to all of the necessary parts, but there is a lot of information on the GitHub page, so I'm going to go through that and explain all the parts that need to be added in. Now I'm in game because I actually need to create a course to start with, which I don't have one to edit. So I'm just going to make a really simple course from the farm here to the shop, but I'm going to purposefully make it wrong. I'm going to drive off the road and whatever else. Now I'm going to say by no means that the editor is perfect in every way. The best way to get a course generated is to use the actual CoursePlay program within the game, because you're in the game, so you can see exactly where everything is aligned to. But you know, if you've made a really complicated course or whatever else, or a long course that you don't want to have to drive again or whatever else, the editor may be of use. So what I'm going to do in transfer mode here in CoursePlay, I'm just going to click Start Course Recording. We'll close that down for now. Then I'm just going to drive from here to the store. But as I say, I'm going to actually drive off the road a little bit. I'm not sure where yet, but we'll do something like that. Go off the road a bit further, and then we'll come over here and drive up into here somewhere. That'll probably do. I'm not going to get too fancy with it, just to show you how it all works and how to install it and whatever else, really, because there is some parts which can be a little bit confusing. So something like that, and then we'll click stop. Very important, save your course, because this is what the file that's going to be saved here is what the editor will be working with, or the converter, and then eventually the editor. So we're going to click save, and I'm just going to do farm to shop, hit enter. We've now got our course saved. Fantastic. So if I then save the map, so I'm just going to save and quit out of the game here. I've already downloaded the files just to save a bit of time, but they don't take that long to download, to be honest. So there goes the phone again. So let's quit out of there, and then we'll get back to the desktop in a minute when OBS catches up with me. There we go. Okay, so this is the page that you need to go to. I will put a link in the description to this. The CoursePlay OSM converter by Yankee42. When you go into here, don't download the actual zip. You don't want that. And if you actually come down, there's some information here in German. I'm using Google Translate, but this is actually in German. If I go back up here and show original, this is the German README, if you like. And if we go down, we have an English version down the bottom here. So this program converts courses from the CoursePlay format to the OpenStreet format, or OpenstreetMap format, so that the courses can be edited using the Java OpenStreetMap. So we need to download the jar file from releases and execute it. This part is important here, as I said before. Don't download it from here. Don't download the files. Go to the releases tab across the top here. And this is version 1.0.6. So we download the course convert jar. We're going to click on that, and it would just download it. As I said, I've already done this. We just download that and then go back. So if we go back down to the English information here, it's saying that we need to extract or execute that program, and then once the program's running, we go course to OSM, and then from the CoursePlay folder of the desired map, choose the file Course Manager XML. So here we would double click on our jar file, which will open up this program. We want course to OSM. Now by default, for me, this automatically takes me to the correct folder, the CoursePlay courses folder. For you, it may not. I don't know, can't say on that. But this is basically in your documents folder. So if you go documents, for me, this is my games, FarmSim 2019, and then CoursePlay courses. This is where all of your mod folders are, your save games and everything else. So it's looking in this particular folder and then in your map folder, and that's the Course Manager XML that it's locating. So we go into here, Course Manager, and we open that one up. It's going to ask us for a map size. If you're not sure what map you're working with or playing with or whatever else, if you go into the map itself, you may need to extract the map to actually get into it and find it. Go to the PDA and open that up in whatever program. I'm using Paint.net. It'll give you the file size there, or the map size I should say there, 2048 by 2048. You can also do this by opening up the XML for the map. I'm using Notepad++, but any text editor will probably do the same, and it will give you the information there as well. Map width and height 2048 by 2048. So we need to change this map size to 2048 and then click OK. As you can see, I've already created this file, so I'm just going to select it and override it. We just type in a file name, call it whatever you want in the map folder here, so I'm just going to call it map.osm. If you wanted to call it something relevant to the map you're working on or playing on, then just use the map name and whatever. So I'm going to click open, and it's going to tell me then that it's created that file. Fantastic. So we click OK. We go back into the instructions here. It tells you to then download the Java Openstreetmap editor. So if I open this in a new window, we don't want to click on this one here, because that will actually just take us to the map, the OpenStreetMap browser window. We don't want that. What we want is the actual editor. So we come down to here where we have the jar file. So we click on that one. Again, as I said, I've already got this, and you just download that to the appropriate location. And then we need to open that program up. So we double click on that to execute it, and it will then open up the Java OpenStreetMap editor. And we need to bring in the OSM file that we just created. So we go File, Open. Again, for me, this is taking me straight to the appropriate place, but it might not for you. So you'll need to find the OSM file that you created earlier, select it and click Open, and we'll then be given this. And this is my course that I generated in-game using the CoursePlay mod. As it is at the moment, I can't really see how I would adjust that, because I can't see the roads or whatever else that I used to actually create this in-game. So we need to do another part here, which it tells you in the instructions under the optional. So we add a background image using the map PDA. So in the OSM converter, choose extract background map, and then we need to choose the DDS file for the actual PDA. So if we go back into the converter here, we want extract background map, and you need to locate wherever that might be. So again, for me, my games, FarmSim 2019, and I'm going to go into the mods folder here, and then into the actual map. If you can't get it to open by double clicking, which sometimes that does do that, just highlight it and click open, and then maps, and then map PDA map h.dds, and click open. It's going to ask you where you want to put it. For me, I'm going to put it back in the CoursePlay courses folder here. As you can see, I've already done that, but just call it whatever you want and click open. It's going to create two files. It's going to extract the DDS and convert it to a PNG, which you could do in another program like Paint.net, but this particular converter also creates a second file, which is a calibration file, and that one's very important. So I would recommend to use this particular converter to actually generate those files for you. It's very simple. As you can see, I've done it quite quickly there. So I would recommend to use this program to create those files, because that calibration file is needed. And just by converting the DDS to a PNG in something like Paint.net will not get you the calibration file, whereas this will. I apologise for the fireworks if you can hear them going off in the background. Nothing I can do about that, I'm afraid. So now that we've got that, if we go back to our instructions again, it says that we need to use a plugin called Pick Layer in our Java OpenStreetMap editor. So we need to go into Edit, Preferences, Plugins, and then install the plugin Pick Layer. So if we go back into here, go Edit, preferences. Now I've already done this, so it will show up already, but we click on the plugins tab here. When I did this the first time, this list here was not populated. So to populate it, you just need to click on download list, and it will then download all of the different plugins that are available for this program. And then in the search bar, just type in there pick, and we'll then be presented with the pick layer and the version number. As you can see, I've already ticked it, but you would just basically put a tick in the box, click OK, and it will then say download successful and installed or something like that. But you just click OK to that pop up and you're good to go. So the next thing we need to do then is add in our background image. So we go into imagery, add picture layer from file, and select the created image in step 3, which is our PDA map that we converted from DDS to a PNG. The calibration file is loaded automatically. So if we go back into here, imagery, new picture layer from file. Again, mine automatically takes me to this folder, which is why I put it in here, because I think that might be the default location that it goes to. I can't say that for sure, but if you've created this PNG anywhere else, like your desktop for example, you might need to search for it. Otherwise, once you've located it, select it and click open, and we now have our background image. Fantastic. So you can see we now have our course, and we have something to kind of align it to, if you like, which is good. So now we can edit our course as desired and then save it. So when we come into here, our mouse wheel zooms in and out. Right mouse button and hold the right mouse button and drag allows us to maneuver the map around. And then if we left click, we can create a selection box, or we can select individual waypoints. So if I want to select multiple waypoints, I click and hold the left mouse button down and drag, and that will select multiple waypoints, and I can then select on any one of these and drag it wherever I want, or I can just select individual ones and move them as it says individually. So if we go back to our course here, we zoom in. This, in my experience using this so far, is not without its faults, let's say. I used the street here, the background image, to kind of try and align the waypoints, but when I went back in the game, the car was driving into oncoming traffic. So I would get it as tight as you can to the edge of the road here, because it doesn't give you the kind of width of the vehicle that you're going to be using. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of kind of trial and error there to get it where you want it to be. So we'll kind of move these something that's maybe like that. I don't know, maybe I want to go a bit tighter, so something like that. Then we can deselect by just clicking anywhere off away from the waypoints. So if we select this one and drag, something like that, then we'll do that one. Something like that, and then we'll do these ones and just drag them over. Now if you end up with too many waypoints, if you just select one, hit delete, it will go away. And that's pretty much that. So we can just continue to drag these along and get them over a bit closer. Now I've not actually looked into this too much on how to add in a waypoint, if I'm honest. So that's something you might have to look into if you want to add more waypoints. This is kind of just a basic kind of video to show you how to get everything up and running. And what files you need to select and what files you need to create, and so on and so on. So if I just do these ones here. Now the question obviously is going to be, is this any quicker than just deleting the course and doing it again? That is really up to you. You on a person by person basis. If you've spent a lot of time generating a course and you've made one very small mistake in it that the editor could easily rectify, then I think the editor is going to save you a lot of time. You could very quickly just come in here, move one of these waypoints, and save it out, and your course is still intact and good to go. If you've got to edit a lot of waypoints, then perhaps maybe it might be beneficial or might be easier to just scrap the course in game and then use CoursePlay to start again and generate an entirely new course. So what I might do there is delete that one so I don't have too many bunched up together there. Something like that perhaps. As I say, depending on the actual course layout, you might be able to box select some of these and then drag them all over together. Something like that. Then click off of them with the left mouse button and then just adjust the individual ones as you need to. So we'll delete that one so it gives us a bit of space to work with. Something like that. And then I might just box select these ones perhaps, move them over. Oops. Maybe something like that. And these ones, move them out a little bit. Something like that, that will do. And we now have our course somewhat corrected. Now you might have to kind of play around with it a little bit. I think this would, like I said before, be more beneficial if you've just got a couple of areas that are not quite as you wanted them to be for whatever reason, and you just need to edit maybe one or two waypoints. But if you're going to have, if you're going to completely edit the entire line of waypoints, then I think perhaps maybe it might be more beneficial just to delete the entire course in game and start again. But it's there to be used, I guess. Like I say, it's going to be possibly helpful to somebody. Worth having a look at, I think. So we've now got our course corrected, I would say, and we then need to, once we've edited the course as desired, we just basically save it. So this will overwrite the file that we've already got. So we're just going to go File, Save. If you wanted to create a secondary one, so keep this one that you've created in game, you could make a backup. So if I go Save As, we have our original one here. I would then call this one perhaps maybe map1.osm and save it like so. And then for whatever reason, I would have the original one as a backup. Up to you. I would probably just overwrite it and just click save instead of save as. I don't, there's no real need to have a secondary one because you're going to be doing this to make edits. But if you wanted to keep this one intact, then just save as, create a new file, and away to go. I'll close this down. If you want to save your progress, whatever you've done here, with all of the background image and everything else, just save as, save session as, and then wherever you want to save that to, save as, and away you go. I'm not going to do that. I don't need to do that. So we'll just exit out when we're done. So now we need to get it back into game. So we need to get it back into a format that the CoursePlay mod can understand. So we use the converter again, OSM to course, and we choose the saved OSM file, and then we just choose a directory as our output and whatever else. It does say down here that any existing files are overwritten without confirmation, so choose an empty directory or create a backup of your files before you basically do that. So if we then go back into here, so we want OSM to course, we're going to find where that is. So again, for me, my games, FarmSim 2019, CoursePlay courses, into the map, and we're going to choose the map 1 OSM. This is my original one, unedited, and then this is my edited one, and we're going to click open. Then we need to just overwrite the original XML. So if we go into here, this is going to basically create our file that we want to put back into game. I can show you what I mean there. So if I go into Documents, My Games, and we go into CoursePlay Courses, and into here, this is our course generation that we made in game with all of our waypoints, as you can see, and what speed the vehicle is going to be doing, angles, positions, and everything else. And what we're doing is basically converting the OSM back into an XML so that this can be read by the CoursePlay mod. So by doing this and selecting that location, as you can see, it matches CoursePlay courses and then the sample mod map. So if I go up one, CoursePlay courses, sample mod map, file types, all files, open, and done. And that's now basically overwritten this particular one here with the new changes that I've made. Now you might want to again make a backup of this, up to you. You know, again, if you're going to be editing using all of this software and whatever else, these programs, then you know, chances are you would want to overwrite it and just use the edited version of what you've done here in the Street Manager, or whatever it's called, the Java Openstreetmap editor. Okay, so we've now got all of that done, so we'll go back into game again. I'll pause here so you don't have to wait for me to get back in the game. Okay, so back in the game then, and we'll find where our vehicle is. Is that over here? Yep, there we go. And this was our course, farm to shop. So if we load up the course and then we bring up our preview, you can see now it actually follows the road and it's not all over the place like it was before. Yeah, so and then it's just basically a case of running the course with your vehicle and making sure that it actually does what you want it to do. So if we go over to the farm, as I said before, when I did this earlier on to test it out and see if I could actually get it all working, whatever else, I edited very quickly, albeit, a course, and found that it looked okay in the editor, but when I actually then came back in the game and run the course, it was actually running into oncoming traffic. So there will be, you will need to spend a bit of time actually setting up the waypoints in the editor, which again can come back to, is it really worth it? Is it better to just delete the course and start again? As you can see, I didn't edit that bit there very well, but you know, you can see there that the vehicle is now following the road to a point. It's not quite, you know, 100%, but I've not really spent that much time actually moving the waypoints into correct positions. I've just done it quite quickly again, so you know, a bit of time would be needed. But we get to the shop successfully. We're knocking over a couple of signs, and that's it. So you know, CoursePlay editor and converter and whatever else by Yankee 42, and hopefully there, you know, you get something out of that. How to use it, how to install it, how to get it running, and whatever else. I'm Shell Wizard. Thanks very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.